Really impressed today with how the home team played. Coach Baldwin had them ready to go. I felt early on that this game was going to go back and forth. I felt we had a good plan for the game on both sides of the ball. I really did believe that to be true. Early on, we really couldn't get a break. We turned the ball over, I think, 4 times in the first half. And I think when it was all said and done, it was just a little bit too much to ever really overcome. I told the team in the locker room today that this game does not define our season. We had a great season, back-to-back 10-win seasons. Our senior class had done some extraordinary things here over the last 5 years. It's the 3rd straight year we made a run in the postseason. So I think today we played one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the country. And they played like it today on their home field in the conditions that they're real comfortable in playing in. And I give them a lot of credit for that kind of execution. But our players did not quit. We continued to fight. We just came up short today and couldn't really ever steal any legitimate momentum in the football game. I'll take some questions here for Andrew and Kevin and myself.
Go ahead for the student athletes.
Kevin, can you talk about the turnovers? It looked like you had some problems with the snap sometimes. What led to all the fumbles in the first half?
Just miscues. Wasn't really nothing big. We did it 900 times, and today we just didn't execute.
Eastern Washington's pass rush, is that something you expected? And I mean, how much did that affect the game?
We expected them to come after watching North Dakota game, and we knew what to expect. Just didn't execute.
Andrew, it seemed like you guys did a pretty good job taking stuff away over the top in the passing game, but what was the game plan coming into this thing to slow them down?
We really wanted to, stay back in our coverage, make the quarterback make the throws as hard as he can, get our hands up, affect passing lanes, and I thought we did a good job of that, for a good part of the game, and ultimately they made some plays.
Coach, can you talk about Eastern Washington's pass rush? What sort of things did you see?
Well, I thought they were pretty aggressive today. I think that they recognize in these conditions the opponent will most likely not execute at a real high level. So they put a little stress on us right off the bat, getting on the edge, getting up the field, getting vertical. They did it with 4, did it with 5, did it with 6. So I think they had a great plan. Obviously, the outcome of the game, offers that. But they were fast and explosive. And I was very impressed. We got shut out. I was very impressed with their defense today, and it probably hasn't been the phase of the program that's been most impressive here as you look through the season. So I think they played all their cards right. I think they had a real good game plan, real calculated in what they did, and then they got the results they were looking for.
Kevin, what sort of effect do you think the conditions had on your guys' offensive execution?
Just the 4 fumbles we had in the first half, just slippery ball, bad footing. I mean, just wet conditions is hard to execute at a high level.
Have you ever played in a game this cold?
I have not. So but the cold really wasn't the factor. We didn't execute, and that was the outcome of the game.
Can you talk a bit about your decision to pull the red shirt and lead you guys these last 3 weeks?
Yeah, went in to talk to Coach Rocco and decided that I wanted to play and help my team win, and that's what I did. And we made it to the quarterfinals. It's not bad.
Coach, can you elaborate on that? Just the decision he made and how he was able to lead you guys?
Well, it was very selfless. He was committed to making a contribution, making an impact. We lost Kyle Laletta. Kyle was he was the offensive preseason player of the year in our league. We lost him at William and Mary, and when he got out of the game, we really were unable to advance the ball. So there weren't a whole lot of high hopes, I would say, heading into selection Sunday. And so Kevin came in to see me on Monday, and he kind of just spoke his mind and pretty much said, "Coach, this is what I want to do." And I wanted to make sure that we thought about it, I prayed over it, thought about it. He communicated with his family. These playoffs are really special. They really are. And to have an opportunity to get in the playoffs, got 2 wins in the postseason. One in front of the home crowd, one up at North Dakota, which was an extraordinary comeback, which he led. Today was uphill. This was going to be a hard game to win no matter how you look at it. This is a good football team. They're ranked right where they're supposed to be ranked. With the environment and the conditions, you had to catch some breaks, and we just didn't catch any breaks. And then they played really well, and they're playing that well, generated the score and the outcome that they got.
Andrew, what's the season been like for you guys as a whole? I know you guys have gone through a ton of injuries, tons of adversity. So I just have it all play out like it did. What's it been like?
It's been a great ride. There definitely been ups, there have been downs, and I think the only reason we got through it is because we came together as a team. People stepped up, people that you might not expect, guys like KJ, and really we just came together, we fought through it, and we're proud of the way the season turned out.
Just first off, want to congratulate Richmond on their season. And I told our team, and I know sometimes a game doesn't go exactly how you'd like, and I've been on the end of those, but I'm telling you, for some of the stuff that they dealt with the entire season, injuries and a quarterback coming off red shirt, I told them how impressed I told that QB after the game how impressed I was, how selfless that was. So, that's a special group that we just went up against too, and I commend them on an amazing season. As far as our guys, it was just such. It was a game full of just the guts and heart. That's the best way I can describe it. And our guys knew that going out in there. The field was maybe going to be a little slick. There's going to be certain things. It was going to be a little colder than what we played in, whatever it might be. And they just handled all the details and handled all the little things. And to be at a point where you're able to play that well against a very good opponent in the playoffs, that's not easy to do. And these guys were just so focused the entire week to get that done. Hats off to our guys on defense, Coach Schmeds, and obviously, but more than anything, the men that are out there, out there on the field battling. To go 4 quarters is one thing. I don't think I've been a part of a playoff shutout in my life, let alone, you really think about it, it's 7 quarters of scoreless football that our defense, and that's college football these days, that doesn't happen. So happy for what those guys, they've earned that. That didn't just happen. That didn't just happen out there today. That goes way back. And then offensively, on a day when it's tough, it's cold, the balls, can slip this and that, we're just executing and taking care of the football and, grinding out drives when we need to, hitting plays when we need to, coming out after halftime. Sometimes when you're up 21-0, it can be real easy to kind of take, not purposely, but take a little gas, and it's like you're waiting for the game to finish, and our offense went right down and scored on that first drive of the second half. And we just played together as a team the whole day, and that's what I loved about it. But again, it'll just keep getting tougher. We know that, and but our guys are ready to attack the week, not attack next Friday night or Saturday. They're ready to attack the week. They're gonna what's the schedule, coach? What do we need to do? And they're just wired that way, and it's an amazing group to coach, and that's why right now they've done some amazing things this year. But it starts over again. Both teams that I don't even know who won, but who are playing yet. But I don't pay attention to that. So you guys, I'm sure, will tell me in a second. But I know one thing: both teams are 0-0 going into this week. That's what it is. You're down to 4 teams, and it's a 0. You have a 0-0 record going into this week, and we're excited for that challenge.
Okay, questions for the student athletes?
Samson, defense getting the shutout. Coach alluded to the now 7 quarters in a row. What is it about this defense right now where you guys keep on just building and building and building?
Honestly, it's just a brotherhood. Like we built the bonds in the off season, so now we're just like building on it, I guess. But like it's just a brotherhood. Like we're just playing for each other. We don't want to let each other down. So that's about it, honestly.
It seemed like you almost had basically I guess Russell Westbrook version of a triple-double for football today, what you did with fumble recoveries, forcing the interceptions, all of that. have you ever had a game like this in your life? And we've seen you play very well, but today was kind of a once in a lifetime game for a lot of people.
No, I haven't, and I can't even explain half the plays that I made. All I know is that in the beginning of the game, I just asked God to let me play the best that I can, and I guess that's what I did.
Coop, have you ever seen a defensive performance like that from anybody on either side of the ball?
No, that was pretty incredible. Never seen something like that. I think, you know, Samson said there is probably about sums it up. You know, we make yourself speechless on, you know, how you play. So you played pretty well.
Coach, is there something you saw in with the pass rush that you thought you guys could take advantage of today? I mean, you had 6 sacks.
Well, there were just certain things where I think our guys, combination of things. I mean, I think between Coach Schmeds, Coach Anna, Coach Strands, they put together a great plan every week. But you can only do so much with a plan. You know, I mean, if you don't have the guys to go out there and execute a plan can only get you so far. So then it's a combination of, you know, I think we study, you know, going into games, how we're gonna, you know, get a pass rush, how we're gonna affect the QB, even if it's not a game where we get a ton of sacks, how we're gonna affect them. But ultimately, those guys, you know, like the guy to my left, Samson, and a number of other guys. Samson will be the first to tell you it's not just him. It's my brother's next to me. It's all, you know, it's everyone else. They've got to execute it, and that happens, like I said, during the off season. That happens going into this week during the week. They're just able to let it go on Saturday because they prepared so well in how we're going to get to the quarterback. How are we going to do it? They know exactly going into the game what we're going to do in those 3rd and 6th, 7 situations, and they're ready to go execute it on Saturday.
Well, is weather a factor at all in a game like this, either in execution or play selection?
You know, the key is for it, I don't really think it is because both teams have to play in it, but for me, it's who handles any situation better. That's how I look at it. And, you know, so if it is a factor, okay, it's a factor, so who's going to handle it better? That's, you know, so it'll never be something, though, where I'll, you know, come back and say, well, you know, if it wasn't for the weather, that's what kind of cost us the game. No, that would mean that I'm saying they handled the weather better than us. And so we look at it like that. If it does have an effect in the kicking game, if it does have an effect in this, well, it has an effect on them too. So let's decide who's going to handle it better and not let it be a factor. And really, this was the nicest day we've had all year in terms of throwing the ball, wouldn't you say, Coop? I mean, we've had wind every week. This was actually a calm, clear day. It didn't affect any kicks. So in a lot of ways, the weather was a nice day.
How big was that play by Gage? Looks like he might even give up a safety there, but he wriggles free and finds Cooper for 68 yards.
Huge play, you know, and that's something that we felt like going into it. They were a team that sometimes would rush, you know, a lot of times would rush 3, sometimes even 2. So we felt like there were going to be those moments where you could buy time, but that one he actually really had to get out of something. But that's something he's been doing all year. You know, he's been doing all year. He's been extending plays. I even told him on the one they called the penalty where he was just past the line or what, you know, right in that area, keep doing that. You know, that's going to hurt. That hurts. When you can keep your eyes downfield in those situations all the way to the last minute and you can hit the line of scrimmage and still be making throws, that's tough. That's tough on a defense, and that's just the type of plays Gage has made, you know, all year long.
Cooper, what's the offense's mentality when you guys get the ball short field after turnovers like you did and able to capitalize?
Well, you know, the defense did a great job of putting us into some pretty great situations, and you know, really we got to be critical of ourselves in terms of how we execute and getting points out of that thing. And regardless of what the scoreboard says, you know, we're going to make sure that we're watching the film and learning from it. Because I think there's still was a lot of points left out in the field. And, but the confidence that we get knowing that we can step on the field and know that the defense is out there flying around and making stops and causing turnovers for us, that's a big deal for us. And, you know, takes any pressure off of us, and we're just able to go out there and, you know, do our thing.
So Cooper, you came off the field shortly after that long gain and looked like, oh, maybe he's hurt or something. That's what we're thinking. But then you come right back out and you catch a 20-yard pass. What was going on there?
Well, it was actually the play after that. So the long play was running too slow, got caught. Heard a lot about it on the sideline. So the next play, you know, I put my arm out, just got hit a little wrong, and just kind of zinged it a little bit, but was able to come back in and shake it off, and it was all right.
Samson, can you comment, and maybe all of you guys can as well, but kind of like the killer instinct of this team, that you guys, you know, you kick them while they're down, that you don't let them back in, you didn't open the door today. You just talk about that instinct and how important that is, especially this time of year.
Well, it's pretty simple. If you let them back in the game, then their confidence is going to grow. So us being the team that we are right now, the mentality is just to like keep them down. If we're up, then we just keep going up. And if we're if it's like an even score or something like that, we're going to be the mentally tougher team that in the end is going to win the game.
But Beau, if you could expand on that too, just, you know, I think about, you know, past seasons where this team has been. It's always been different. You can't compare, but this team has something, doesn't it?
Absolutely. You know, it has something special, and you could see it even before, my opinion, you could see it even before we ever played a game. That's what I'd say. And we get to see that. The fans don't get to, other people don't get to. They have to wait to see, you know, they're still going into WSU going, oh, how are these guys going to look? You know, new O-line, who's going to play QB? I mean, a lot of questions, but we get to see it. So you could see something special with our guys back in January, back in February, back in March. You could just see something different about the way they were going to push the standard, something different about the way they were going to come off a 6-5 year, where a lot of people might have said, hey, we went on, you know, 3 Big Sky titles. We had 1 year that was a little down, but we're fine. And they took it, they took it as being unacceptable. And it was those guys who did it. I mean, guys like to the left and right of me that lead that charge along with other guys and seniors, and it trickles down. So it is special. And then once you got into the season, you could see it too. Even in a loss against North Dakota State, you could see it. I mean, obviously a big win against the Cougars, a lot of emotion, and that obviously turned out to be a very, you know, a win against a very good football team, as it turned out. But then when we went on the road, I know that game didn't end in a win, but down at different times, 2 scores in that arena and there, and how we kept responding, and how we still were in a spot losing the turnover battle on the road at their place and still had a field goal to win it. I just felt something inside that said, this team has a little bit of that stuff, but at the end of the day, you still have to go out and do it every Saturday. And more than anything, you have to do it every week, Sunday until Saturday kickoff, and that's what these guys do better than, you know, any team I've been around.
Youngstown State, by the way.
They won.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Double
Okay.
OT.
Double
Double OT.
OT. Wow.
Beau versus Beau.
Oh, okay. He spells it different, right? Gotcha. Okay.
You spelled it right.
Any other questions?
Opinion.